Hey guys, welcome back to A Matter of Life and Maiden, the podcast of the Beast. I'm Joe Labrula.
And I'm Matt Wagner.
And today we're going to continue from where we left off last time. Part 2 of Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. This time around we're going to talk about Maiden England, the concert they did in 88. And then our experience with that, they kind of revitalized that in 2012. They did a Maiden England North American tour, which Matt and I got the opportunity to see in 2012. Pretty long tour. They did 2012, 2013, and 2014. 3 years of that tour, Maiden England. We're going to talk about the stage set, some of the production that went into the stage set. Similar to what we did with Power Slave, we did part 1 and part 2. It's going to be kind of in that vein. We're going to talk about Seventh Son, though, in regards to stage design and all that kind of stuff and our experience with it. So,
yeah, we talked on the Somewhere in Time podcast about how they never did a concert recording of the Somewhere in Time tour, and how Steve always regretted that because it was such a great stage set and tour. But they did for the Seventh Son tour, and they did Maiden England.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, in terms of stage set design, and we talked about this before, how Power Slave set the tone for every epic stage set that would come after this. They really put a lot of production in their theatrical performance and stage sets from Power Slave onward. This is a prime example of that. The stage set is basically an icy kind of dream world, just like the cover of the album. There's ice everywhere. It's like a white color. Nico's drum set, when we saw them, was blue, and it had the faces of Eddie from the Seventh Son cover, like the different ice sculptures in the actual toms, and the cover of his bass drum was the spiritual Eddie that's floating above the Eddie holding the baby in his hand on the drum cover, which was awesome.
Wasn't this the tour where Nico wore like that crazy jacket?
The old one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old one, he wore like a white like military jacket almost. It looked like a military jacket was white.
Tassels on it or something.
Yeah, like tassels and stuff on it. Yeah, Bruce wore like an all black. He wore like a black leather top and like black leather pants for this tour, and he had like a studded belt. Adrian had like that jean jacket and the white scarf, and Davey had, I think he was wearing something with a white accent on it as well. And I think Steve was wearing blue in this tour, kind of matching the color of the album. But in terms of that and the way they designed, I think Adrian looked the coolest out of all of them. For Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, his stage attire was pretty awesome looking. This is kind of where he started really, really utilizing the. He did it on Somewhere in Time a lot too, but he really started utilizing Jackson guitars on that white soloist body. He had a white one with a black pickguard, and then he had a white one with a white pickguard.
Yeah, I love the white one with the white pickguard. It would be my favorite Adrian Smith guitar.
Yeah, it's a fantastic guitar. I love it. This is kind of where I think he started getting endorsed by Jackson too, back in '88. Awesome, just awesome stuff. '88, the version is really awesome. I don't know if you guys have watched Maiden England, but they re-released it. I mentioned earlier in 2013. It's a great concert. And if you watch it, the way it's filmed is a lot different than Live After Death. Live After Death is like a concert where you're looking at the scope of the band, and you can see like shots of the crowd, and there's just like thousands of people standing there. But Maiden England is very much a more personal, much like the album itself, a more personal kind of experience. I think Steve was talking about it in one of the history DVDs where he said when he filmed Maiden England, and you got people who filmed Maiden England, he wanted it to be like somebody with a camera was out in the audience and they were taking video recording of the band as they're on stage, because he said he just felt like technically that maybe that wouldn't be brilliant to have somebody with a phone or a camera taking it, but it was a much more personal connection with the fans seeing that, like somebody was actually recording it. And
Live After Death's almost like a theatrical feel to it. It's like you're almost watching almost like a movie being shot. Exactly.
And this is a very personal thing. I mean, you watch Maiden England '88, and it looks like somebody. I mean, it's very well done, but it looks like somebody, like you said, was filming it with the camera, and just somebody who was at a concert and just loving it. But it's shot very well. It's very, very good. But you don't see that big crowd. It's you really get to focus on the band. You don't get to see the scope of everything. And Steve wanted that because Rod said with Live After Death, he wanted to get his boys out there and show them that they were big. And in this, they've already achieved that like international fame. So it's kind of time to tone it down and just relax a little bit.
I mean, I think with Like the Power Slave Live After Death, it was like all their hits put in the one like concert. It was like all their classics. And with this DVD, you get some like lesser known songs. Like Still Life is on the DVD, which I don't think they've played since back in Peace of Mind tour. And you have Die With Your Boots On, and you have Killers. So like you got like some lesser known classics that were played here, and that's a bit of a risk putting that on like a VHS to release to the general public.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really cool though, because in relation to what we saw in 2012, when we saw our version of the Maiden England tour, they played 6 songs from this set list. They played 5 from 7 songs, and then they included the Prisoner, and we saw them. It was awesome. It was amazing to see that song live. It was incredible. I loved it.
I remember when we heard about the Maiden England tour being, released. We never ever thought we would see that tour. Like, we knew that they were doing the history tours, and we kind of thought that they would skip like ahead to like the 90s stuff or something. Like, we never imagined, I don't think it ever crossed my mind that they would do like a Maiden England tour.
No, not at all. I mean, it like I said, Matt and I have been very, very fortunate. Never getting to see a Seventh Son tour ever, because we were born in 86. Never getting to see Power Slave, World Slavery Tour, because we weren't even born when that concert happened. But the fact that they wanted to like just do a resurgence, really, on 2 of some of their most popular albums. I mean, you're not going to do a Number of the Beast tour, because Number of the Beast is a prominent fixture in every set list almost. They're going to play at least 3 or 4 songs from that album every time. Right. So you get that. You're going to get that nostalgic feel for Number of the Beast. Peace of Mind is something they haven't really played in a long time. But this set list already has 2 songs that we talked about from it. And now with the Legacy of the Beast tour that's happening now in 2018, I think there's like 3 or 4 songs on there that are from Peace of Mind. So if that comes over here next year, we're gonna get a little taste of Peace of Mind finally too. So we've been really fortunate. I mean, we got to see Power Slave, basically half the album live. We've seen Somewhere in Time. We've only seen 2 songs off of that live, but that's because there wasn't or 2 or 3 songs from that live. We never really got to see anything that there was no Somewhere in Time tour, Somewhere in Time DVD that we can sit there and watch and like kind of relive again. So
yeah, and Steve always said how much he regretted not recording that show.
Exactly, and that's probably never going to happen. Let's be honest; they're never going to do it unless they do something with this next album that they're going to release. It's a futuristic theme, and maybe they'll be like, okay, we're going to do a history tour. Who knows? More than likely, we probably won't see anything like that. And then we get Seventh Son. So very, very fortunate too that we got to see this played live. It's something to behold. A different kind of magic than the Somewhere in Time tour, but Somewhere Back in Time tour, excuse me. But definitely worth it. Definitely incredible production on stage and everything like that.
Yeah, I remember we said June 30th was the day we went to see them, and we live in central Pennsylvania, so we have about a 3-4 hour drive down to Washington, right outside Washington D.C. to go see them play. And heading on the way down there, Joe experienced some car trouble.
Oh yeah, that was great.
And we got probably we were really close to the stadium. We were probably about 20 minutes away when his car finally broke down and it was overheating and stuff. But we stopped for probably an hour maybe and let it cool down, and we finally made it the rest of the way to the show, and we got there late. And the opening act was Alice Cooper. And the only thing with Alice Cooper's set we missed was the very first song, which was it was a new song, so we didn't really miss anything. But we got to his seats, and I think he started playing School's Out or something was the second song he played. And we were just talking about earlier about how cool it was to see Alice Cooper play, because we got to see School's Out, we saw Poison. We saw all his good hits.
School's Out, Poison, I'm 18, Feed My Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And the Feed My Frankenstein was really cool because he kind of took a page from the old Maiden playbook, and when he played Feed My Frankenstein, he had a Frankenstein monster come out and walk on stage and attack him and stuff like that, like Maiden does with Eddie. It was really cool.
It was interesting because Cooper was kind of the originator of that kind of stuff that Maiden would use a little bit later. Maiden just took it and blew it up, but using props, using giant Frankensteins, that kind of stuff that Maiden would kind of take and incorporate into their own act later, and they'd blow it up. Having Alice Cooper open for Iron Maiden was really, really cool.
Yeah, to this day, out of all 6 shows that I've seen, Lauren Harris, Steve's daughter, open for Somewhere Back in Time. Not my kind of music. Wasn't really into it. When we saw them on the Final Frontier tour in 2010, Dream Theater opened for them. That was really good. I mean, that was awesome.
Yeah, Dream Theater was cool.
But Alice Cooper, like in terms of theatrical presence and the stuff he sung about, was probably the best opener. And this last time we saw him on the Book Soul tour, Ghost PC opened for them. Not really I like Ghost. I'll listen to their stuff, but it's not.
It was alright, yeah.
It's not my vein of metal. I like metal.
Cooper was definitely, when we went to see them and Alice Cooper opened up, like, if you guys out there are big Maiden fans, you know Iron Maiden fans have a tendency not to go watch whoever's opening for Iron Maiden. They're just there to see Maiden. They have a habit of just skipping out on the opening act. Like when we saw them, even when we saw them with Dream Theater, there was probably like 30% of the crowd there for Dream Theater, as big a band as they are in like America. But when we went to see them with Alice Cooper opening, it was probably like 80% of the crowd was there for Alice Cooper. It was like a lot. Yeah. It's probably the most we've ever seen for an opening act for Iron Maiden.
And I know this is the podcast of the Beast, and this is a matter of life of Maiden, but if you guys get a chance to see Alice Cooper's live show, he's pretty awesome. I mean, it's really good. It's really, really good. Yeah,
it's a great opener for Iron Maiden.
And like I said, Matt and I are also, like I said in the first podcast we ever did, we come from like a classic rock background, and Cooper's known, far and wide as a classic rock kind of guy. So he has
for sure.
He has that legendary status, not as much as Iron Maiden, but he's a legend in rock history. He's there.
He's an originator, He's one of those guys that blazed the trail for people like Iron Maiden.
Absolutely. He's touring right now with the Hollywood Vampire supergroup. Johnny Depp is a guitarist in it.
Yeah.
And Joe Perry from Aerosmith is also a guitarist. That's kind of cool if you guys are into Alice. Check out the Hollywood Vampires too. Their music's actually pretty cool. They do a lot of covers and stuff like that, but it sounds really good. So check it out. But
you getting on with the show? You guys, like the recreation of like the Maiden England stage. It was pretty incredible. It was probably even better production quality than they had for the original tour.
Yeah,
just being updated.
Like we said on the previous podcast earlier, they didn't really do too much with the stage set for Peace of Mind. Really, it was Power Slave is when they did the Eye of Horus on the ground and all that kind of stuff, and did the hieroglyphics and like pyramids for the stage set, and had the Mummy Eddie come up and all that awesome stuff. Mummy Eddie come out on stage, and Nico's drum set in Somewhere Back in Time is decorated with hieroglyphics, and he has the Eye of Horus on the drum cover. Well, this is just as good as that production-wise.
Honestly, like, comparing the Somewhere Back in Time tour and then we saw the Maiden England tour, I think there was more production added to the Maiden England tour than there was in the Somewhere Back in Time tour.
Yeah, there was. It's a matter of opinion, too. I mean, production and design and stuff like that, there's a lot more gadgets and kind of, like...
gimmicky stuff, yeah.
Yeah, gimmicky stuff in the Maiden England 2012 tour we saw. The Clairvoyant cover we talked about in the previous episode with... Eddie kind of like this cleric almost, or like a wizard or some, like, I don't know, a fortune teller looking into a crystal ball. He has a book of life, and he has a candle on one side that's the devil and a candle on the other side that is an angel. Okay, picture that, and then picture that in real life. And that's exactly what happens. I mean, when Seven Sons playing, they have a huge version of that come up out of the back, like behind Nico. It's a huge version of the fortune teller Eddie with the crystal ball, with the Book of Life, and they have huge, gigantic, like, candles that are probably...
They must be 20 feet high.
Oh, yeah, like 20 feet high candles. One's a devil on one side, just like it is on the cover for the single, and then on the other side they have the angel, and it is amazing. And the flames are lit. Like, the flames are lit. Eddie's eyes lighting up red. Like, the crystal ball that he's holding in his hand lights up. Bruce comes out with, like, the slick back hair. Almost looks like Aleister Crowley, almost, like some kind of weird occult guy. It's really cool to see it.
Yeah, we'll just go through the set list here. And they opened up with Moonchild, which is a perfect opener. I know it's like Made in England, but the song Moonchild is an awesome opener. It's quick, it's fast, it's upbeat. Crowd loved it, obviously. Like, Dave Murray's solo is disgusting. And he does it even better live than on the studio version, I think.
Yeah, the Moonchild solo is epic. We talked about the album before this and how it's awesome on that. But seeing it live again, this is another one that's almost like Aces High. When like you see it live, you get so much more appreciation for it. You're sitting there and you're just like, you hear the synths coming, dun, 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 you're like, oh shit, here we go. And then the bass is dun, and it's like Matt said, Davey solo. It just takes you to this. Now they don't come out. Obviously, they're going to play the intro part in the background before they come out. 7 Deadly Sins, 7 Ways to Win. It's real quiet stuff. And then as soon as the music starts and the stuff comes out, they jump out. So it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, for you guys out there that have never seen, maybe you've never seen Iron Maiden live, or maybe you haven't seen like one of these history tours, they actually like for years just like watched that Maiden England DVD or VHS, and you like saw that stage set, and then actually like go and witness it in person, how like incredible that is to actually like oh my god, like there is like we're going to see that Maiden England show here. It's like an amazing feeling.
Absolutely. You cannot, even us sitting here talking about it, every single show that we have seen is completely different. It's not, there's no sameness about it. And I love that the band tries to do that. They really try to focus it on the album and make you want to listen to 777 song. You know, it's 2012. You're talking about the album came out in 88. That's 24 years later. That's 24 years later that they decided to do this tour. And it's just no wonder the band is so popular and they have this constant resurgence, because they're always, if they're not doing a new album and touring with a new album, they're doing a history tour. It's fantastic.
Yeah. They have like the perfect formula right now, is that they keep up with newer stuff. They play, they make new albums. They come out with these like unique tours with these new albums, and it's fresh. And then they also like reach back into their history and they give their newer fans a taste of the Somewhere Back in Time tour or Maiden England. And even when we saw them with the Final Frontier tour, they did like songs from Brave New World, and they did Dance to Death songs and stuff we hadn't seen live, and it was cool. Like they always like keeping stuff fresh.
Absolutely, and like you said with those tours, man. I mean, my first tour was Somewhere Back in Time. That's a historical tour. Then we saw Final Frontier. That's a new thing. Then we saw Maiden England, which is a historical tour, and then we just saw Book of Souls, which is a new thing. It's like they have this constant cycle back and forth, which works. I mean, it's perfect. Can I Play with Madness live?
I mean, it's better live than it is on the studio version, but like, yeah, like, and at least it was like still early in the show, so I'm still like really like hyped from just being there at the show and seeing Iron Maiden. But yeah, like I don't really like Can I Play with Madness a whole lot anyway. But
yeah, Can't Play with Madness is a good song. We talked about this on the last podcast, but me personally, I think Matt can agree. Definitely would have rather seen Infinite Dreams from the original Maiden set list.
Sure.
I mean, Infinite Dreams is incredible. Matt was talking after we had recorded. We were like, "Oh man, that was great!" And then he's like, "Man, you were obsessed with Infinite Dreams. You just play the shit out of that song." And I was like, "Yeah, I did." I actually learned on the acoustic guitar and played some chords and stuff along to it. It was, I mean, I used to love playing that song. I would play it like at night before I go to bed sometimes, because I was like, man, I need to get some peace of mind here, a little, need to play some stuff.
Some Infinite Dreams.
Yeah, and I did, and I loved it. I love the song. I love the lyrics. I really wish they would play that live sometime, please. That and Alexander the Great are probably two songs that I'd love to see live. They haven't done in a long time.
Yeah, for sure. The third song they played was The Prisoner. And that's a song that I never thought I'd get to hear live again. They haven't played that song in forever. And, like, seeing that song, like, hearing the intro to The Prisoner, I'm not a number, I'm a free man, and that laugh, and then Nico comes out with that awesome drum beat. It was an awesome song to see live.
Yeah, it was incredible. And another thing was they actually did play this on the 88 Maiden England show, which was awesome, because they actually carried that song over from 88. They probably figured, you know what?
Might have been the last time they played it.
It might have been 24 years before, which was incredible. Like Matt said, I never thought I'd ever see The Prisoner ever again, and they did it. I mean, like I said, we're very fortunate. We talked about The Prisoner, the song, and how much we love it on a number of the Beast podcasts we've done. You guys already know how much we love it. Seeing it live was incredible. I mean, it just... no words. I mean, Moonchild was incredible. Like Matt said, Can't Play with Madness, you're still kind of like foggy from Moonchild. Like, you're not 100% cognizant yet. You're just like, Maiden, Then The Prisoner comes on and you're like, oh shit. I think I might have been like when Matt and I actually like looked at each other. We're like, oh my god, are you ready? And it was like...
yeah, it's like one of my favorite songs of Iron Maiden's to see it live. It's like even better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it delivers on every level. There's no pulling punches on The Prisoner live. It's Bruce sounded fucking incredible. Like better than 88. Honestly.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Bruce sounds better live than he ever has.
2 Minutes to Midnight.
2 Minutes to Midnight never really disappoints live. It's awesome. Like,
never gets old.
Yeah. What can you say? 2 Minutes to Midnight.
Never gets old. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like I said, check out our 2-part podcast, Power Slave, for more on 2 Minutes to Midnight, and we tell you a little bit about what we think about it in there, and we love it. Yeah,
it's a song that like really kicks ass live too.
Another surprise for us when we saw this set list come out was Afraid to Shoot Strangers.
It's a bit weird, because obviously that song was not played during the Maiden 88 VHS, but I guess Bruce said, I read an interview that he really, he was listening to the song and he really wanted to play it. And Steve said, okay, we can play it. And it doesn't fit the set exactly, but it was a cool song to hear live.
Yeah, for you guys who are unfamiliar, we'll talk about this on the 1992 release of Fear the Dark, and we do the review for that.
Yeah, 2 more episodes. It's definitely a bright spot on that album, for sure.
It's probably the best song on the album, to be honest. And if you're unfamiliar with it, it's about the Gulf War, so check it out. Desert Storm, that kind of stuff. Check it out and see what you think.
It was cool live. Like, I didn't have a problem with him playing it. Like, seeing it live, I didn't think,
Bruce destroys it. I mean, as usual.
Like you said, maybe I would have rather heard Infinite Dreams or something like that, but...
Yeah, honestly, I was not looking forward to it, to be honest. When I saw the set list, I was like, Afraid to Shoot Strangers, what the hell? And then I listened to it, and I was like, oh, that's really fucking good.
Another song I didn't really think I'd ever hear live.
Yeah, Afraid to Shoot Strangers, we'd never really seen anything really from the 90s, so it was nice to hear it. Oh my goodness. What is next? The Trooper.
The Trooper!
Is anybody tired of this song yet? No, that's the answer.
Yeah, Trooper always rocks live. It's this kind of like, we were talking about this before we started recording about, like, this started a run of great songs on this set list.
Yeah, like in a row. How many songs we saw in a row. This right here starts it off. The Trooper being the first song in a row live that you're seeing, and then like we said, it's amazing. After that, they played Number of the Beast, which, again,
never disappoints.
Is anybody tired of Number of the Beast? No, is the answer. After Number of the Beast, never did we ever... Afraid to Shoot Strangers, alright, okay, nobody really cares about that. The Prisoner, fucking amazing. Oh, shit, The Prisoner. We're so fortunate to see The Prisoner. This is fucking great. Then after they play Number of the Beast, the fucking geniuses they are play Phantom of the Opera. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, like, so far on the... like you said about the concert, like, we've seen Moonchild before, we saw Can't Play with Madness before. Prisoner's awesome song, we liked it. We've seen 2 Minutes to Midnight before, Afraid to Shoot Strangers, cool song. We saw The Trooper before, we've seen Number of the Beast before. We'd never seen Phantom of the Opera live, me and Joe.
Wow.
And it did not, like, disappoint live at all.
Absolutely fantastic. They should seriously just consider playing it like every set list.
Yeah, there's no reason why they should never not play Phantom of the Opera live.
It is incredible. I mean, it seems
like why it's not like considered like Hallowed Be Thy Name or The Trooper or Number of the Beast or something they just play live like constantly. It should be like one of those songs.
It should be. I agree with you. I think me and you. I mean, I think our top 3 is almost exactly the same. I think you're putting what? Are you putting Phantom first or Hallowed first?
I don't know. Like, there's days where Phantom of the Opera is my favorite song.
So it could potentially go for you, Phantom of the Opera, Hallowed Be Thy Name, Rhyme the Ancient Mariner.
Yeah, or any of the order there.
For me, this is mine. Mine's Rhyme the Ancient Mariner, Hallowed Be Thy Name, and Phantom of the Opera. Phantom of the Opera is my number 3 song, and I'm talking about. I said this before on earliest podcast. These are fractions, fractions apart from one another. I mean, it's not even to see Phantom of the Opera live was incredible.
I think out of every Iron Maiden song we've ever seen live, I think that's my second favorite besides Rhyme the Ancient Mariner seeing it live. That's like how I think about it. And like Bruce on vocals during this song is ridiculous, and like the way he sings it live now, he's just perfect. And
the way they play it live now with 3 guitarists is unbelievable. It adds just that extra layer of like texture. Like we talked about when we reviewed the Iron Maiden album, how the production is kind of flat and stuff. Well, when you hear it live, it's not fucking flat. I mean, it's like incredible. It is. Wow.
Sometimes I go on YouTube and I just watch live versions of Phantom of the Opera. It's ridiculous.
Bruce singing a song is sheer, utter, like, amazement. I think by this time when we had seen Number of the Beast and all that stuff, Phantom of the Opera, we were just like, oh my god, really, this is heaven right now. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, like, they had the flames shooting up during the song, and, like, they had the, right before, like, the breakdown, and, I don't know, we talked about Phantom of the Opera, like, during the first episode of the podcast, and just, like, my favorite part of any Iron Maiden song might be, like, the part after the solos when they're just, like, jamming together and they're just playing, and it's, like, it's awesome.
It is awesome, man. The backdrop for it's awesome, too. The backdrop, I think I read somewhere, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong out there if you're listening. They have a backdrop of Eddie with a cape and there's, like, a pipe organ. I actually think that's one of the cover arts for Running Free. That's actually a Running Free artwork, but they use it for Phantom of the Opera. So, I love that art, too. That's amazing art.
Yeah.
I love it. It came after the album, though, too, so we couldn't include that on the album. It came after the fact, and they started using it, so. But it's something awesome to look at if you guys ever get a chance to see it. It's really cool.
Just seeing like a giant backdrop of it is amazing.
Yeah, Eddie, he's like on this mountainside, and there's just like an organ that looks like Eddie's face. This metal organ that's shaped like Eddie's head, almost, with like organs coming out of it, like pipes, and he's playing it, and it's just sweet. It's awesome.
You know, the hits keep on coming, and you get Run to the Hills.
Run to the Hills. I mean, okay. Trooper, Number the Beast, Phantom of the Opera wasn't enough. Now we get Run to the Hills. I mean, this is like, how many songs on a row now? They're just like, knock it out of the park, like, hepatitis, see you later. You know? I mean, it's like, it's unbelievable, man.
And Run to the Hills, like, yeah, like a lot of people out there might be sick of hearing like the Run to the Hills studio version. But like hearing Run to the Hills live is awesome. It gets the crowd going. Everybody loves Run to the Hills.
Run to the Hills is one of the most iconic Maiden songs.
Yeah, it's the most popular song in terms of your general music fans. But like seeing it live, and it's just like full of energy, and then Bruce does that scream in the middle of it. You know, it's awesome.
Never gets old. Never gets old.
Nope.
Wasted Years.
Another just classic. Classic after classic here.
Knocking it out of the fucking park with this. Since The Trooper, we've had The Trooper, Number the Beast, Phantom of the Opera, Run to the Hills. Wasted Years.
I mean, Wasted Years, one of your favorite songs, one of my favorite songs. Adrian Smith has one of his best solos in it. I mean, it's a great song live, too. I don't know what more to say. It's just like every song's just like amazing.
I like doing the live versions when they were singing Wasted Years, where Bruce is ready to sing the chorus and he goes, Adrian, and Adrian's like, oh, like he sings the backup with Bruce. That's awesome.
Yeah, if you guys didn't know, Adrian like always dreamed about being a singer. That was like his goal. He didn't have the voice for it quite, but Bruce always pokes fun for it during the song a lot with his backing vocals.
But it sounds good. I mean, it does sound alright. It's not bad. I mean, it's a good filler in the back for Bruce and kind of that little backing. He's not Bruce Dickinson, but
who is?
Yeah, exactly. He's not bad for what he does. Playing guitar and singing is pretty hard. So
he's a much better backing vocalist than Steve Harris for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Steve can't sing. That's why Steve whispers the words on stage and really doesn't talk into a microphone. After Wasted Years. Wow.
Yeah, you get kind of, the jewel of the set list here.
This is another song that we never, ever thought we would ever see in our lifetimes, ever played live. The crown jewel, the title track of Seventh Son of a Seventh Son album. I just said it, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son.
I mean, this is kind of like when we first got the set list and we're looking down, oh, Prisoner, man, oh, Phantom of the Opera, amazing. And then we were like, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, we never thought we'd hear Seventh Son of the Seventh Son live. And we'll never get a chance to hear that song again. I think that's pretty safe to say.
Yeah, Matt and I were talking about this before we did this podcast. I think one of the biggest regrets that I have with this tour when they came, because they played this for 3 years, was not seeing them a couple more times on this tour. Seeing them once was amazing, and that was great enough, but I really, really wish...
Probably not a bad thing considering your car blew up.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing, but I really, really wish we went to saw them at least one more time on this tour.
Yeah,
it's something I'm gonna miss. I still have the nostalgic moment from that tour, but
if you look at the other tours, we saw them twice on Somewhere Back in Time tour, and we saw them twice in the Final Frontier tour, and then we saw them only once here. So we kind of get that those other shows were kind of more embedded in our memories because we saw it twice. This we only got to see it once. It's kind of a shame, but seeing this song live, like Joe was talking about earlier, they had the Prophecy cover art and they blew it up on stage, and you had the candles and the giant Eddie with his crystal ball and the Book of Soul. Yeah, Bruce came out with his slick back hair. He kind of looked like some sort of prophet or something. I don't know what he was doing, but it was cool.
It was unbelievable. And the stage set and the fireworks. They have fireworks in this song too.
Yeah, it was very similar to not Phantom of the Opera. Rhyme the Ancient Mariner, where during the instrumental part they had fireworks going off during the.
That was a highlight of that live show for me.
It was probably the peak. It was probably the peak of the show.
Oh, absolutely. It was
kind of like I said, rhyme during the Somewhere Back in Time tour. This was the rhyme of the show.
It was fantastic. And not only did they have the Clairvoyant Eddie or whatever with the candles and stuff, I know in the stage set they had Eddie somewhere on the cover holding that kid and the baby and whatever that thing is, his stomach and umbilical cord, whatever.
Yeah.
It was moving. It was awesome. It was amazing. That was probably the coolest prop Iron Maiden has ever done, I think. Seeing that, I was like, oh my, this is amazing.
So this thing about Iron Maiden, they just keep reinventing themselves and come up with this new stuff, and you don't get it's not like every tour they bring out the Trooper Eddie, there's the Trooper Eddie again, bringing out, it's always a different giant Eddie. There's,
that giant Eddie was awesome. And another thing that was great about it was, because we're American, and they dubbed this, the first tour was the Maiden England North American Tour. The Eddie that came out, the walk-on stage Eddie, was modeled after General Custer from American History, which was fucking awesome. And they actually released tour shirts too. A Custer Eddie instead of holding the American flag instead of the Trooper Eddie almost looks like the Trooper Eddie holding the British flag.
Yeah, instead of holding the Union Jack, he's holding Old Glory.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. Another thing that we really didn't talk about was the artwork for this tour poster. We talked about Somewhere Back in Time and how that artwork was like unbelievable. You had the Mummy Eddie with basically the Power Slave cover, but like at nighttime almost. And there was the Cyborg Eddie on the one side and Seventh Son on the other side, and the rest was pretty similar to the original Power Slave.
some of that tour artwork was just awesome with everything like froze over.
Yeah, this stuff here too is really awesome with everything froze over. They have for the original Maiden England DVD, it's Eddie on a motorcycle and he's like above a crowd and there's spotlights on him and he's wearing a leather jacket. It's pretty cool. He's like sideways on a motorcycle up in the air, spotlights are on him. For this one, they did like a Trooper Eddie almost. It's Trooper Eddie holding a sword, and like Matt said, the Union Jack, and he's in the Trooper garb. But the way he's drawn is like the Maiden England 88 Eddie, but he's on a horse instead of a motorcycle, and there's like a cannon in the front, and there's like skeletal warriors like all scattered on the ground and stuff. It's pretty neat to see it. They also did a tour poster almost exactly like that, except this is my favorite tour poster they did for the Maiden England. This is actually for the 2014 tour. It's part of the same tour, but it's Eddie, like the one on the motorcycle, like the one on the Dark Horse. He's on a Dark Horse again. Or no, he's not. He's on a mummified horse. It's a horse that's all wrapped in bandages. Eddie's wrapped in bandages. He looks like sort of like Power Slave Eddie, but he has the Clairvoyant live single cover look to him. He has like the robot eye and a laser eye and a Power Slave eye, and he's underneath him is the Book of Life opened, and the backdrop of it is ice. And it's like a bunch of ice.
See, I love when they do those like mashes between like different artworks and like themes, and like during the Somewhere Back in Time tour when they did like like Power Slave with Somewhere in Time Eddie on one side and Seventh Son on Eddie on the other side. Like that's just so cool how they do that. They know how to use artwork and they know how to get their fans to buy T-shirts. That's for sure.
That album, and also on that album they have the on that thing I was just talking about from 2014 with the icy background. They have all the incarnations of Eddie in the background too in ice.
Yeah,
and
that's what I was talking about. Yeah.
They also have the candles from the Clairvoyant cover. Instead of them actually being candles, they're ice with candles on top of them. It's sick. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
It's if you guys ever have a chance to check it out, it's awesome.
And he's holding the Union Jack, and he has a sword in his hand too. The Eddie from that. I love it. I love that. It looks incredible. And the Seventh Son Eddie's actually on the bottom with a quill. It's ridiculous. I love it. I love that tour poster. That's my favorite tour poster from the Maiden England tour. More so than the 2012 one. I like the one they released in 2014. I think that is almost on par with the Somewhere Back in Time tour poster as being one of the most iconic, rehashed, mixed together tour posters.
I mean, it's one thing about these like tours that we keep talking about is like how awesome. Like Iron Maiden's cover art's awesome. Their single covers are awesome. But their tour art is like amazing. It's so cool to get those like T-shirts with that unique stuff on it. I know like they had a shirt with like Vikings on it one time. They had a shirt with like from Australia with like a kangaroo on the front. Like it's so cool just how they do that for their fans. Like how there's like little unique T-shirts for each area. There has to be thousands of different Iron Maiden T-shirts out there.
Yeah, there has to be, man. And it's like we said, it's just a testament to them as a band. And
the fact that like they care about. The fact that their fans care about that kind of stuff and they oblige and give them these unique T-shirts.
It's unbelievable. I don't even know where to begin talking about that. But after Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, then they go into another Seventh Son of a Seventh Son song with the Clairvoyant.
Yeah, I mean Clairvoyant live's fine. Steve's bass is like cool. It's one of his best bass intros. But live it's just is what it is song. Like it's just it's a good song to hear live, but there's much to it.
Yeah, it's
I mean, I guess it was kind of like ending that kind of like Seventh Son theme for the concert.
Yeah, it was I think the last song. Well, there's one more song that they play from Seventh Son, but it was kind of like Matt said, it kind of was like ending that to a certain extent. Like I said, I kind of want to touch on that tour poster again a little bit because the seventh tour of a seventh tour poster that they did doesn't even. I mean, I like it. It's cool, but it doesn't even touch on the Maiden England 2014 or 2012 tour poster.
Yeah, their artwork nowadays is just like top notch. Ever since I think starting with the Somewhere Back in Time tour to modern times here, like their tour artwork's amazing.
Yeah, it's absolutely unbelievable. Everything is overhauled. Everything is fantastic. All the themes are great. I don't even know where to begin to talk about. It's just, I agree with you with Clairvoyant though too, man. It's great. But again, I think we saw Clairvoyant on Somewhere Back in Time, right? So it was kind of like something we've already seen.
It's not one of my favorite live songs either, but it's still cool.
And like Matt said, this is kind of where, you realize the end of the show is coming. They're playing Fear of the Dark next after this. Which, Matt and I talked about this recently. As much as we like Fear of the Dark, and the live version is far superior than the album version, in our opinion, it's just...
They play it too much. I wish they wouldn't play it so much. Like, yes, I wouldn't mind seeing it live if they didn't play it every single show.
And the thing that really kind of disappoints me about that, it's not that it's a bad thing, but like Matt said, it's kind of played too much. Why would you play Fear of the Dark every show instead of Phantom of the Opera? Like, that to me, I don't know. I would reserve that slot for Phantom of the Opera over Fear of the Dark any day. I mean, they're almost the same length. Why not play Phantom of the Opera over there?
And the other thing, too, is that, like, Fear of the Dark doesn't really match the Maiden England tour theme either.
It doesn't. It doesn't match the theme.
Like, why wouldn't you play, like, the original tour they played, Die With Your Boots On? Why don't you play Die With Your Boots On? Like, that'd have been awesome.
Play Die With Your Boots On or play Still Life. I mean, yeah, exactly. It's cool. It's a great song, and I think the reason they play it, like
it's a crowd pleaser.
Exactly. It's for the crowd. Yeah. It's for the crowd.
Like, your casual Maiden fans are there to hear Fear of the Dark. Or we're kind of like more of your hardcore fans, so we're kind of like, I don't want to hear Fear of the Dark again, but if that's your first show, then you want to see Fear of the Dark.
Yeah, one of my friends I was talking to the other day, speaking of this, he's a Maiden fan, and his favorite song is Fear of the Dark, which is ironic to me, because his favorite album is Power Slave. He likes Fear of the Dark, Hallowed Be Thy Name, and then he likes Around the Ancient Manor as his third favorite. I asked him, I was like, really? You like Fear of the Dark over, Hallowed Be Thy Name and Rhyme? And I was like, why? He's like, it's just amazing live.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue. I mean, there was a time that Fear of the Dark was one of your favorite songs, back when you first got into Maiden. Remember, we were playing, we're learning how to play guitar, we play Fear of the Dark.
I was going to say, Fear of the Dark was one of my favorite songs because of that, though, because I was learning to play it on guitar.
It's an easy song to learn.
Yeah, after kind of playing it, it just doesn't have that. It's a crowd pleaser, like Matt said, the live version is far superior, but if you're listening to the album version, no way. It pales in comparison to anything.
I don't think, like, when I first started getting into Iron Maiden, I think it might have been, like, a couple years before I even heard, like, the studio version of Fear of the Dark. There was no point in it. Like, why would I listen to the studio version?
The live version is far superior. And then, obviously, after Fear of the Dark, they come in with their iconic, last song before the Encore, Iron Maiden. Yeah. Never gets old. That song is awesome.
Iron Maiden is like, the crowd always pops for it. They love it.
That's a staple in every song they play at every show.
I think they've never not played Iron Maiden in the whole history of the band.
It's fantastic. Yeah. It's an amazing live song. It's an amazing album song. And the thing that's great about this, I will say, is this might be one of the coolest encore openers after Iron Maiden that they ever did. Because Matt and I talked about this before, how nostalgic you get when you hear Aces High.
Yeah, if you're an Iron Maiden fan and you know about the history and Live After Death, and when you hear that, like, Churchill speech, you have to get chills. Like, you have to be like, oh my god, like, this is amazing.
Yeah, so what's Maiden do for the encore? They're like, okay, we're going to play Churchill's speech, and then we're going to go into Aces High. So we're going to give them two thrills.
As an encore. Like, you're getting Aces High as an encore. Like, that's amazing.
That was probably one of the best encore openers I think we've seen live, I'd have to say, as far as the encore goes. It hits every time. It's always a hit. No, never disappoints ever live. And then after Aces High, they play the last song that they're going to play from Seventh Son on the Seventh Son on this set list, and that's The Evil That Men Do. Absolutely incredible live. I don't think we saw this live up until this point.
No, I think The Evil That Men Do is like my favorite song from the album live. Maybe after Seventh Son. Like, it is a great song. It has like a ton of energy. It's the crowd loves it. The crowd sings along to it. I mean, it's a great song to see live.
The Evil That Men Do is my actually third favorite. I think my second favorite is probably Moonchild. Then probably The Evil That Men Do, but they're all, like you said, they all do that. The crowd loves all three of those equally.
Yeah, for sure.
It's absolutely. The Evil That Men Do is an amazing song. We talked about this on the previous podcast when we reviewed the album, the Seventh Son album. It's so different, but it's one of those songs that it's almost not metal to a certain extent. It's more like a rock sort of song, rocky sounding kind of, has sort of like, this album in general has like these folky minstrel elements to them, but it's It's cool
Yeah, it's
shit.
not kind of like your classic metal sound. Like, it's not your Number of the Beast metal song. It's not Peace of Mind. It's definitely different.
It's different in a good way.
Yeah.
It's progressive and it's great. I love it. I love it on the album. I love it live. It never gets old. And then they close with Running Free.
I think Running Free is a good song to close with. Not my favorite closer, but like the way he plays with the crowd during the song, and he introduces the band and that kind of stuff. Like Steve just plays that bass line during when he's introducing the band. It's cool.
And Bruce Dickinson, I mean, just the humility he has. He introduces everybody in the band. He doesn't say anything about himself. I mean, he introduces Steve, then he talks about Adrian, Janik, he talks about Nico, he talks about Dave, and he says nothing about himself.
But it's cool. He just goes on this rant. He keeps talking. He's introduce people, and then he'd go, "I'm running free," yeah, and they stop, and then the crowd would just scream it. It was kind of cool. Then you go back to introducing the band,
Yeah, they did an extended play of that where they just.
It's probably 8 minutes long live.
Yeah, instead of closing at the very last part, with on the album, like Matt said, he would do a little. They just kept it going it was a loop of the last probably verse and chorus, just the rhythm and stuff. It was an extended loop of that, and then he would introduce Steve, "I'm running free, yeah, I'm running free," and then they go back into the thing, and he would just start talking. Bruce would just start talking about whatever, and he introduced somebody else and do it, start talking about something, and it was really cool. And I know this is the Seventh Son tour, but when we saw them on, and this is Maiden England in 2012, when we saw them on the Final Frontier tour, they also played this song. And I think during this time when they were doing Running Free and stuff like that, he was talking about a new album for his Final Frontier was coming out. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, he kind of chats with the crowd. Bruce loves talking, loves hearing himself, so I'm sure he likes closing with Running Free, so he can just chit-chat with the crowd.
Yeah, but in terms of closers, I think
it's not my favorite.
Yeah, I think that what we've seen live, there's 2 points that I really love that we see live, and I think it's probably because the other songs close with Running Free the other times we've seen them. Out of the 6 shows that I've seen, 2 highlights for me are when we saw them on Somewhere Back in Time and they closed with Hallowed Be Thy Name. I thought that was incredible. And the next time is really a highlight for me because it's fresher and it's one of my favorite songs is when they closed with Whiskey or something.
Yeah.
Soul Story last year. That was pretty awesome.
I think Hallowed's such a great closer that it's hard to top.
Hallowed and Wasted Years are great. Hallowed might be a little bit better closer than Wasted Years, but
I think with Hallowed it's just it's just the way it crescendos and peaks. You go away happy.
You go away happy anyway because then after the show's over, they play Always Look on the Bright Side of Life by Monty Python, and you're just laughing your ass off because Monty Python's fucking hilarious. If you haven't watched Monty Python, you should check them out. We didn't mention this on the last podcast. It kind of just glossed over a little bit, but for the video for Can I Play with Madness, Graham Chapman was a member of Monty Python, and he's in the video. And he shortly dies of cancer after he makes that video, and it's kind of funny that Bruce kind of gets cancer later, and but Bruce is really humble when he talks about Graham Chapman. He says, God bless him for coming down here and doing that for us, even though he was, sick with cancer. He still came down and did it. So awesome, but maybe not quite as good as Somewhere Back in Time, the set list we saw, Maiden England. But there's no doubt in my mind this is probably the second best set list we've ever seen.
It was also made for a long night because after the show, Joe's parents drove down.
Oh yeah,
to DC, and we
picked us up.
Yeah, no, we went to we met them at a hotel or something, and they looked at his car, and we discovered Joe had a hole in his oil pan or something, so he had to go buy oil and put oil in his car, and then we followed him back up, and we didn't get home until about 6 in the morning.
Yeah,
it was a long night.
6 in the morning was a long night, but it was
totally worth it because we just talked the whole way about the show and what our favorite part was, and how cool Phantom of the Opera was, and how cool the Seventh Son, blow up Eddie was, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was awesome, and probably the second best set list we've ever seen live, I have to say, and pretty much just because of that run and the way they did it. The Trooper, Number of the Beast, Phantom of the Opera, Run of the Hills, Wasted Years, Seventh Son, and even the Clairvoyant, all of those in a row was just wow, that's sickening.
Yeah, we'll never see a show that would probably top the Somewhere Back in Time tour, but that was pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty awesome, especially seeing Phantom of the Opera and stuff.
Definitely. But hey, everybody out there, we're sorry if you never saw a live Maiden show. Like I said, we have been extremely fortunate. We even regret not seeing this one a second time. It was so damn good. And I'm kind of getting a little sad because we only saw Book of Souls one time too, and that was a really damn good show. All their shows are great. Let's be honest.
Maiden never disappoints.
They're never going to disappoint you. You're always gonna take something away. Like me, for instance. I know this is kind of off topic, but The Final Frontier tour, when we saw them, not my cup of tea. My brother's favorite album is Brave New World. So for him to see 4 songs played off of that set list to him, and he's an aerospace engineering major. He loves science fiction. He loves rockets. He loves outer space. Their set list was a derelict space station with rocket ships. So for him, he's like, oh my god, like he loved it.
Yeah.
And I love Somewhere Back in Time stage set because I'm a historian. I mean, we talked about this earlier. It's what relates to you.
Yeah, somebody out there, Maiden England is probably their favorite tour they ever saw.
Exactly. Seven Son might be somebody's favorite album, and they might love that stage set. Where us...
Yeah, you imagine if Seven Son was, like, your, like, all-time favorite album, you got to see that tour live. I mean, oh my god, you had to have been, like, in heaven.
Exactly. And that's what I was for Somewhere Back in Time. Because of the Ron Leachy Mariner stuff and how Power Slave is such a big, huge influence on my life. It's definitely different for everyone. Hey, please don't be jealous of us. I know you're probably like, oh my god, you guys are so fucking lucky you got to see that shit. But listen, we're going to talk about it more because there's a lot more stuff we got to see. And if Legacy of the Beast comes next year, we're probably going to be seeing that too. So just in case you guys are out there like, oh, you suck, buy a ticket. No, don't.
Get a time machine. Go back and watch it.
Yeah, they're coming around your place. Seriously, do not hesitate. I will say this too about Maiden. We didn't really mention this. Seeing concerts live and stuff like that, some of it's pricey. Some of it can cost, money. Some of it's, hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Or you're traveling hours and hours to go see them.
Hours and hours and hours. But I will say this about Iron Maiden. It's another quality of the band because they want fans to be there. I don't think Matt and I have ever paid over $90 for a ticket to go see a Maiden show. That is unbelievable. I mean... We were looking at tickets the other day. I was looking at tickets for Rush a couple of years ago, and they were $200 for not even great seats. We just got tickets for Metallica recently, and they were $200 some a person, or $150 some a person. It's like...
Yeah, for
nosebleed seats.
Yeah.
We got pit seats last year to go see the Book of Souls tour. I think they were $95 or something like that. I could throw, if I wanted to throw my hat, take it. I could probably throw it at Bruce and hit him on stage. Like, that's how close we were.
And he'd probably be pissed at you, but...
I mean,
you can do it.
They are fair about everything they do. $90 to see Iron Maiden for one night is fucking unbelievable. If you get a chance, please pay the money. You will not regret paying that money. You will not regret paying that money. A t-shirt, another thing. They're freaking concert merchandise. Okay, I understand it's going to be blown up and inflated. You don't want to pay $35 for a t-shirt. You're paying an extra $15 when you can buy a t-shirt somewhere else for $20. But it's a special event. You're never going to get these t-shirts ever again. They're going to go for like $400 on eBay, and when you try to go buy it from the tour, you can pay $35 at the show, get one, wear it, and you have it for the rest of your life. I mean, it's a memory. It's something I regret not doing in the past couple shows we went to because I don't want to spend the money, but I should have.
Yeah.
I really regret doing that, but, if we ever see them again, I'm definitely going to buy another tour shirt. Just fantastic. Please listen to Iron Maiden. Give them a chance. Give Seven Son a chance. This is Seven Son Part 2 for us.
Yeah, I mean... Coming up here, looking in the future, things are going to change here in the next episode.
Yeah, so we're trying to squeeze every ounce of greatness that we have left out of this podcast. I mean, really, the golden era is over after this episode. We are no longer in the golden era. Now that's not fair to say that there aren't some gems on the '90s album.
And it's not that it's not worth talking about these albums because
not what we're talking about, but. If you're going to talk about a low point in Maiden's career, it's definitely in the next couple podcasts we're going to talk about that. And if you're going to talk about transitions, even low points in personal careers for people.
Personal lives, yeah.
Yeah, Bruce went through some stuff during this time, maybe a little bit before this, but he might have been coping with some stuff. Steve went through a lot of low stuff in this. Adrian obviously left the band because of some stuff going on, and we missed him. We miss him a lot in the 90s. You'll hear the difference in the 90s, and it's really, honestly, it's kind of a shame because Adrian said this on the DVD when they released History Part 3 with talking about the Seven Son album. There was a direction that he wanted to go with the band. Steve didn't want that, and that's why he left the band. That's how the episode actually ends. History DVD, it says, "Then before I knew it, I was no longer in the band." And then they just go, that was the end of the history. Like,
I wonder if they're going to record more of those history DVDs, or if that's like it. Because if that's it, that's like a strange way to just be like, we're done.
Exactly.
They have to be recording more.
I would hope they would do more, but seriously, guys, the golden era of Maiden. Listen from 82 to 88. Listen to 80, listen to 81 if you like short punky stuff, or 81 Killers. You will not find stuff like this for a long time. So the 2000 release of Brave New World, which we are really, really excited to talk about. We're gonna be trudging through some mud here for the next couple podcasts, so bear with us if we're kind of like depressed because
we're
tough.
new. We're that new era of Iron Maiden. We're fanboys of that. We love the Brave New World through the Book of Souls stuff. So
absolutely, Brave New World through Book of Souls is I don't want to say it's as good as the 82 through 88 stuff, but it is damn near as good.
Yeah, I might listen to that stuff more than I listen to the older stuff.
Absolutely. It's damn near as good. If you're talking about ages, obviously the golden era is going to be this stuff we're talking about, 82 through 88. The dark age of Maiden is the 90s. The 90 album, 92, 95, and 98. And then the resurgence in 1999 reunion in 2000. Brave New World. All the way up to Book of Souls that just came out, 2015. That is the rebirth, the renaissance, really, of Iron Maiden. So
yeah, for sure.
Listen to some Iron Maiden. If you like the new stuff and you haven't really listened to the old stuff, go back and listen to the old stuff. You'll hear a lot of the influence from the new stuff in these albums in particular, 82 through 88. So give them a listen. But as always, guys, we appreciate you tuning in. If you've made it this far and you've listened to every podcast from the beginning of our stuff up until now, we thank you very much. Really want to hear some people's input. Want to hear some comments and, some feedback. Let us know what we're doing wrong. Let us know if, you don't like what we're doing. If you want us to talk about a certain thing. We plan to do this for a while, so we're going to have a lot of podcasts to come after we do the album reviews. So if there's something you guys want to talk about, please let us know, and we'll see if we can squeeze it in. And if you put your name on there on the Instagram page or the Facebook page, we'll make sure we give you a shout out, and say, hey, this is from this person. We can read your email or read your post, and we'll talk about it right here on this podcast. So let us know what you want to hear. As always, guys, I'm Joe Labriola.
And I'm Matt Wagner.
Thanks again for listening to A Matter of Life and Maiden, the podcast of the Beast. We will see you guys in the Dark Ages right now. I gotta go get some holy water and, do the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit here, because it's gonna be tough to go through these next couple albums. But we are gonna do it. We're taking the plunge, and you can come with us if you dare, as Bruce Dickinson would say. Good luck out there, guys. Have fun, and up the irons.